It's time to remove the fin and take to the air. Now we're going to place the foil in the board and get you up, out the water and fully flying across it. In these videos we'll look at getting you launched onto the water and then those first flights. Once we've mastered those first flights, we'll move towards sustained flights, increasing speed and then going towards and away from the wind. And then we'll start looking at transitions like tacks and jibes. It's incredibly important that your foil is well attached into the board. Make sure your bolts are fully tight, everything is clean and it's well fitted. Rule number 1 of foiling is always keep hold of the boom to make sure that you stay away from the foil if you do crash. The next thing to think about is when we're getting on the board, be aware that there is a foil there. And at this stage, we're definitely wearing an impact vest and a helmet. Carry the rig into the water and make sure it's safe. Then go back and grab the board. When you carry the foil board on its own, put one hand on the foot strap and one hand on the fuselage. Carry the foil board into the water, then attach the equipment together, trying to look after your wings and your foil at all times. Once you're at a good depth, we can now flip the board over, climb on, uphaul and sail away. Even if it's windy enough to water start, we're still going to uphaul the sail to start with, just to make sure we don't come in contact with the foil. When returning to shore, step off the board safely in deep enough water. Grab the boom with one hand and grab the foil mast, wrapping your hand around with the other. We can then lift it up onto our leg and walk them up the beach together. There are several different ways we can get our first flights on the board. To start with, sail along and look for enough wind. Sheet the sail in, look downwind and start to accelerate. Work your front foot back and into the foot strap. As soon as the board starts to lift, look upwind again and keep your body upright and still. The stiller your body, the more successful that first flight. If you need a little bit more lift, move your back foot further back, right next to the foot straps, or even on top of the fin box. To come down, move your weight forward, sheet the sail out, and it'll bring you back down onto the surface. If you need a bit more lift or a bit more power, we can work both feet back and into the foot straps. With your back foot in the foot strap, this will give you more lift or allow you to pump to get the foil up and riding. Make sure you look upwind and keep the rig upright and body still to keep the board trimmed flat as it comes out of the water. For your first flight, remember rule number 1, always keep hold of the boom. Our first challenge in foiling is maintaining a flat board from side to side. So when you're working towards your sustained flights, it's all about getting the best possible stance on the foil. The key to the stance is having your legs straighter and your body slightly kinked at the waist. So as the board comes up, try and straighten your legs, push your hips out to keep your upper body vertical. Drive down through your back heel and down through your back leg to keep the board flat from side to side. Try this in the harness. And if you're starting to put weight in the harness, we're ready to start adjusting ride height. Foiling works by moving our weight forward or moving our weight back. So to adjust ride height, we can move our weight forward to reduce the ride height or move our weight back to increase the ride height. To begin with, the simplest way of doing this is moving our head and our hands. So blasting along, if you see a gust that's going to make you come up on the foil, move your front hand forward and pull down. Move your head forward. This will bring you down on the foil. If you want to come back up again, move your hand back and move your head back. Over time, we can keep the head and the hands still and instead move our hips forward or move our hips back. As we get more advanced, we can then focus on just using pressure for our legs and our feet. And once we're at this stage, we can start to focus on going upwind and downwind. The key to changing ride height is the faster you go, the more lift you'll get. So as you go faster, your weight has to go further and further forward. In lighter winds or with less power, we'll have to maintain our weight back to maintain the lift. If we're looking to increase speed on the foil, we need to be able to shift our weight more easily. Really focus on squeezing weight down through the harness by driving the hips out and down. When powered, we can now brake at the knees and get into a more squatted position so we're driving our weight through the foil. Rather than easing out the power in the sail, we're going to stay sheeted in, drive our legs through the foil, but remember to shift your weight forward as you go faster to maintain your ride height. To go upwind efficiently on the foil, first of all, you need to look upwind. Keep the rig upright. Maintaining lift upwind will be about pressure through the back leg and keeping the rig upright. Whilst the rig needs to stay upright, your weight will still need to go forward slightly to go upwind. Push weight against the front of the harness, through the back leg, but all the time, keep that rig upright to help you keep power as you're going upwind. Downwind on the foil is almost the opposite to downwind on the fin. The faster you go as you go downwind, the more your weight will need to go forward. The best way to achieve this to begin with is try it with the back foot out and unhooked. Keep the rig upright, ease the power out the sail with your back foot in the middle of the board. If you get more power, move your back foot further across the board. If you've got a little bit less power, move it more to the windward side of the board to change your angle and keep control. As you get more confident going downwind, try it hooked in with long harness lines. Make sure you push your head and your hips and your weight over your front leg. You can still use your back foot moving across the board to change your angle and help control the power. Over time, you might even try doing this in both foot straps. At this stage, you'll have to focus on rolling your hips and rolling your knees to be able to get your weight far forward enough as you go quicker. To tack on the foil, we want to try and keep the board foiling for as long as possible through the wind. Slide your front hand forward and unhook. Take your back foot out and place it in the middle of the board. Carve the board into wind, using your back foot to help trim the board. And as soon as the board taps down, step round the front and get back on the board to get the lift back on. As soon as you're powered up again and the lift's back on, get into the foot straps and get back up onto the foil. To jibe on the foil, we focus on two things: ride height and keeping the rig forward. Flying along, unhook, stay low and take your back foot out the foot strap. Place this in the middle of the board and set your height low. Now move your back foot all the way across the board and just in front of the back foot strap. Keep pushing the rig forwards as you look through the turn. Move the rig to the outside and your body weight to the inside. The most important thing here is the foot change. Your front foot comes out the foot strap and you slide your new front foot straight into the new foot strap. As soon as it lands in the new foot strap, make sure your hands by the boom clamp, release the rig and flip the sail. If you want to maintain more lift during a jibe, make sure that back foot stays back or take more speed in. If you get too much lift in your jibe, when you flip the rig, focus on the weight going forward to stop yourself coming all the way out the water.